and welcome to the world premiere of Noah Segan's Blood Relatives. When the programming team initially screened Blood Relatives, we were really impressed with the way that Noah was able to deftly balance different genres, making something completely unique. It's really funny. It's really bizarre. It displays sentiment without sentimentality and still delivers some good old-fashioned vampire violence. You can see inflections of films like Paper Moon and Near Dark displaying that sense of film history, but he still has a voice that is uniquely his own. You all are familiar with Noah and his work in front of the camera with his friend and longtime collaborator Ryan Johnson, but Blood Relatives marks his directorial debut, and it establishes him as a director that we should all watch for in the future. It is my great pleasure to introduce the director of tonight's film, Mr. Noah Segan.
All sure you're in the right place. This is Blood Relatives. I love that there's a vampire movie that's sponsored by a sleep company. We did that on purpose. Thank you guys so much for coming out. It's supposed to be a comedy, so please laugh and enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you guys after the show. Thank you guys.
Director Noah Segan.
Hey guys, we have like a few hats and they say "Oy vey" on them. You guys want to come? You can have one too. You can totally have one. Yeah? There's some hats. Guys, what's going on? We gotta really fling a few of them. Oh, go down there and what? Oh. Vic, will you? No, not that one. Wait, not that one. That one's a special one. Yeah, you have to trade that one back in.
I'm not very good at this.
Wait, Vic here. Throw some over there. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, this is about you, so.
Yeah, these and do you guys know Super Yaki? They make like really cool t-shirts and stuff. They made these hats and there's gonna be like more of them, but we have a few today for you guys. Do you guys want to like start talking? Oh no, I hit you in the head. I'm sorry. Do you want to start talking? We can
Sure.
We can do like more hats after we talk. I don't know.
Do you want
Did you get a hat?
I
Do you want one? Did you get one?
I did before, but I'll take another one.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit about, you're an actor primarily, you know, segging into directing for the first time. Tell me about that.
It was terrifying. It was yeah. I don't know. I guess I sort of did it by default. Like I did it by because I wrote the story and I kind of just felt like there was nobody that I could convince to direct it. So I just was like, I guess I'll try to do it.
It's perfect answer.
It's really like it's one of those jobs you find I don't know that once you do it you really feel for everybody who you work for. If I've ever acted in one of your films, I'm sorry for what I put you through.
You're working in a bunch of different genres. The road movie, slapstick comedy, family drama, the vampire movie. what was on your mind when you were crafting these films? This film. What films or directors were your influence?
I mean, Paper Moon, sort of, which is one of my favorite movies. Raising Arizona, and Blood Simple, which is such a great Texas movie. And you and I were talking earlier about the Coens and sort of how I think the Coens make genre movies, and we all sort of think like, wow, what genre will they tackle next? But it's like they're always funny. It's always comedy, and so I think even in Miller's Crossing is like a funny movie. There's at least jokes in it. There's funny parts. So I think I just wanted to at least try to keep people smiling, and so as I sort of kept throwing in ideas of how to get there, how to get this story told, it was sort of like, well, how do you kind of keep it at least fun for me.
It's a great time. Victoria, you've acted in lots of things, in TV and comedy and horror. Can you tell me a little bit about who you're channeling, who you're thinking about when you're acting? Do you have people that you look to?
Oh, I mean, everybody around me. I think that I try to draw from people that I know, but I think I just try to be aware all the time of people and their personalities, and I think that's maybe what I feel like I do the most. But for Jane, I think she had a lot of my own 15-year-old self. It's really fun to play teenagers. So her angst came from a really specific place. So I think it was just it was fun. It was a lot of like that attitude that I feel like we all hold from when we're 14 and 15, that we all have inside of us. So hopefully you connected to that.
How did the two of you work together?
We met through Josh Rubin. Josh is in 15 movies at the film festival this year.
Every single one.
Josh and Vic met on Plan B, right?
Yeah.
You guys have one of the most memorable scenes in the movie.
Roger.
Where he's also
creepy.
a creep, yeah.
Yeah, now it's just like an ongoing joke that Josh is just gonna continuously creep on me in movies. But it was really full circle that way. Roger's my favorite character. But yeah, we met on Plan B, a film we did a couple years ago, and Josh was producing this and reached out and said, hey, I thought of you for this, which is so kind, and I remember reading it and it touching my soul, and then I just got on the phone with Noah, and that's where we met.
One of the things I think that I think you I don't know if you remember this, but one of the first conversations that we had, you sort of said I like the idea of being able to sort of revive, be the version of the kid that you wish you were.
Totally.
Be able to do all the when you leave the altercation or you leave the sort of bad experience, man, I should have said this to this guy, or I could have, and you and it's that, when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that's that makes for a person. It makes for a full-fledged idea of a person as opposed to just a thing on a page.
Yeah, I don't remember saying that, but I guess that's what I was trying to say earlier. And so Jane's just who I've always wanted to be.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Yeah. The question was about how this film relates to his family in real life.
Well, I did write it after I became a dad, so I think it had some influence. I think, but I don't know. I mean, I spent like a really long time, going to film festivals and thinking I was like a cool dude, and then I became a dad, and I'm still a very cool guy. Next question.
Question. Yes.
As an old punk, I was really excited to see Screeching Weasel. Can you tell me about how all that happened?
Oh man, that was crazy. At some point, I started like DMing with Ben years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, and then the pandemic hit, and he did the thing that like everybody who works in the movie business dreads, which is this guy sends me a message and goes, "I wrote a script, will you read it?" and I did, and then I was like, I'm a really big fan of yours, and I sort of started talking to him about it. And it turned out he was a big fan of Wagner, of The Ring, which is in the movie, and I'm a big fan. A lot of my friends are, and so we started talking about that, and he's a great screenwriter, and he writes novels. He does stuff sort of for fun, and we sort of just became kind of buddies over that, and then it bled into the pandemic, and we were both at home and just sort of kind of no pun intended, fostered this friendship together, and I thought, again, this sort of idea of kind of revising like what I think of my own 15-year-old self, and just writing me as a kid, going, what was I doing? I was listening to this band and just thinking like everybody's wrong, and then he just let us use a lot of his music.
Yes.
So the leather jacket, the muscle car, there's even a chicken-shaped pitcher. Are these nods to brick, or are these just coincidences?
He asked if some of the things in the film were a nod to brick.
The chicken pitcher definitely is. The muscle car is mine, and the muscle car in Brick is a Mustang, completely different. I mean, totally, just could not be further from. It's a Mustang. I have to drive a Barracuda. There's no connection to that whatsoever. I will say that I have the leather jacket that I wore in Brick, and before I left to go shoot this movie, I tried it on to just think like, it's like, can I save $95 for the costume department? But it didn't fit.
There's a line in the movie saying it didn't fit.
No, that was just it was just different. It was 2 different jackets. They made one that was tighter, so.
And I saw another. Yes.
Really enjoyed the movie. Just wondering if you continue, or if you considered making more within that universe. You've introduced werewolves a little bit. The crazy radio guy talking about mummies.
Is Noah considering expanding this film into other universes?
The blood relative cinematic universe, if you will. Yeah, I mean, I think like the idea of just sort of thinking like, right, like everybody's family are monsters, but there are monsters, right? Like that I really liked. We've talked about doing like a Jane and Terry like spin-off. Yeah, like I want you guys to like write a comic book.
Yeah.
About like an adventure that Jane and Terry have together.
Yeah, there was something really cool about Jane and Terry. Like, I don't know, I just saw them going off on a little adventure of their own, and the comic book series would have been really cool too, because like a comic book werewolf and like vampires. It's like, yeah, it's very cool. 2 teenagers just running around.
But there may be room for Blood Relatives 2, Dad and Loving It. a third, The Grampire.
Victoria, it's a really physical performance. Did you have to lift weights or go on any sort of special
Did you stretch?
diet? Did you stretch?
Were you hydrated? These are questions.
So I didn't know that I was doing the punch until like it was like a couple days before or something, wasn't it? Because originally you were supposed to do the punch.
Yeah, it was originally Francis was gonna do the punch, and I was like, no, like that's not. This is just a superhero moment.
Yeah, and so it really looked, and so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do a punch, and so, yeah, I thought that looked pretty badass. It was physical, like in a way that was, yeah, like super speed and stuff like that whenever Jane runs off. But it was like weirdly physical with like her being very awkward and not comfortable in the beginning, and then her kind of like finding her own when she's finally like found her place. So I feel like that was a pretty cool physicality thing for me.
You were super cool about like getting in the trunk and stuff too. Like yeah.
That's just normal stuff.
Well, no, I gotta say, like, you're always like, as like an actor, you're thinking to yourself, like, oh my god, like I'm gonna ask this person to do that. Like they're gonna get in like this gross old trunk of this car and pop out. And you're like, yeah, all right, cool. Should I get in the trunk now? Should I just like, yeah?
I don't know. I think that stuff is so fun. Like I'm kind of always down for anything, because in real life, like, you know, when am I gonna be able to like hide in a trunk and kind of pop out and scare somebody? So I'm always down for it.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I want to ask you, it's a dark question. If you don't want me to answer it, I won't.
I mean, this is a very safe space.
In the Holocaust, that was probably personal to you as well.
I'm sure that they're yes. I mean, my mother's side has been over here for many years. My father's side, his father came over right before the Holocaust and came over alone, and so but I know he had family that did not come later, and were murdered. We're pretty well assimilated here, my family. Anybody have like a more fun question?
Yeah, over here.
So Terry, great character, wanted to see more. Pronouns, are they, like non-binary? Now is that because it's both a person and a werewolf?
No, that's because Jesse uses they them pronouns.
Okay.
Jesse Lucas, who's the actor, yeah.
Any other? Yeah, hi.
Well, I mean, would you be interested in that, Vic?
I don't know.
We could pay you a
No,
lot of money.
I feel like that just went over
You know,
everybody's head.
you're sitting next to the person who could really make that happen. This is Sam Zimmerman, ladies and gentlemen. AMC Shutters, Sam Zimmerman, who made this movie happen and will make the series and many sequels happen thanks to you. Yes, thank you.
Can you talk about being in front of and behind the camera? How did you handle those challenges?
Oh, man. It was. I mean, it was. There was no way to do it without Vic, without and Josh, and having people who were kind of watching out for me. But I mean, luckily it was. We did a lot of checking in. I think there was a lot of me like just looking at, because we didn't have a lot of time, we didn't have any money, and I mean there were times we didn't even have like every kind of monitor you would like to be able to look at the thing and not run off and look at playback, and so it was a lot of me being like, Vic, did I do good? Was that good? And you'd be like, yeah, you did. No, I think you did.
No, that was great. No, I really felt that. No, I did, and there was a lot of like, we just talked a lot before, like about, I just tried to get on the same page with Noah about, where we wanted their relationship to go and end up, because, I didn't expect there to be a lot of time for us to do that on set. So we kind of got to hash that out, which was, I think, really beneficial.
Yeah, we rehearsed. We like did the thing that people don't get a chance to often do on these movies, right? Is like actually like rehearse, and then for a lot of it, we had Josh watching the monitor, and he would be able to sort of go like, I think you need to do one more faster, and I'd be like, okay, all right, let's do one more. We'll do it faster. Okay, and it was very helpful to have that kind of immediate feedback. But a lot of it was like, we'd be doing a scene and there'd be a monitor like where the hats are on the floor, and I'd be like looking at that while I'm at, and it was, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend it as a first choice.
So did this put you off on directing forever? Are you gonna take the helm again? How are you feeling about it?
I mean, listen, if they'll let me do it again, I'll probably do it. If they can't get anybody else.
Noah Segan, Victoria Moroles, thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year to my Jewish friends.
Yeah, happy Rosh Hashanah, guys.